Welcome to the Lift Oneself podcast, where we break mental health stigmas through conversations. I'm your host, Nat, and we dive into topics about trauma and how it impacts the nervous system. Yet we don't just leave you there. We share insights and tools of self-care, meditation, and growth that help you be curious about your own biology. Your presence matters. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. Help our community grow. Let's get into this. Oh, and please remember to be kind to yourself. Nice to meet you. It's Aline.
Yes, it is. It is.
Nice to meet you. Where are you?
I am in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
Your accent, though, doesn't tell me Austin, Texas. It's French?
That's it. Yes. It's the very east side of Austin.
Oh, east side. Tu parles français?
Oui, bien sûr. Je suis française.
Ah, d'accord.
Voilà. Et donc, toi, tu es canadienne?
Oui.
Québécoise?
Non, ontarienne. La plupart des personnes que je communique avec, c'est tout en anglais. Puis aussi, je pratique pas ma langue, mais je devrais parce que en parlant avec vous, j'étais comme, c'est quoi ce mot-là? C'est quoi ce mot-là? Puis la traduction dans le cerveau, puis c'est, non, c'est pas ça. Oh my gosh.
Je comprends tout à fait. J'ai appris l'anglais quand je suis venue aux États-Unis et il y avait beaucoup de confusion dans le cerveau pour danser dans les deux. Oui. Et maintenant, quand je retourne en France, je parle avec ma mère, ma soeur. Elles me disent tout le temps, mais Aline, ça, c'est pas un mot qui existe en français.
Exactement.
Alors, j'ai décidé de créer un nouveau dictionnaire, le dictionnaire d'Aline, où on mélange un petit peu de tout.
Oui, je comprends. Welcome to the Lift Oneself podcast, Aline. I'm so thankful you're here with me.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited you created a beautiful space for us to share. I cannot wait to move into it and follow the flow that takes us wherever it needs to go.
Will you join me in a meditation?
Absolutely.
And for the listeners, you can use all the prompts. Unless you're driving or need focus with your eyes, I'll ask you not to close your eyes because we want you to be safe. Otherwise, you can still follow the other prompts and go into this meditation. So, Aline, I'll ask you to close your eyes with me and begin breathing in and out through your nose. And bring your awareness to watching your breath go in and out through your nose. Don't try to control your breath, just watch it go in and out. Whatever sensations or feelings that are coming up in the body, let them pass through. You're safe. You're safe to feel. You're safe to let go. Keeping your attention, your focus on your breath. Surrender the need to control. Release the need to resist and just be. Be with your breath. Be in the now. Dropping into your body. Staying with your breath. Aline, I'm going to ask you to create an intention in your mind. The intention is, what is it that you want to bring forth in this conversation and for the listeners? I'll be doing the same. And when you've created that intention, I'll ask you to release it into your energy force, your thoughts, allowing it to drop into your nervous system, into your heart, into your spirit, letting it strengthen your voice, your frequency, your vibration. Keeping your awareness on your breath, dropping deeper into your body, dropping into the moment, into your breath. Allowing that intention to be surrounded by you. Now, while still staying with your breath, at your own time and at your own pace, you're going to gently open your eyes. How's your heart doing?
It was so green. At the moment that the intention was moved out to the energy force, it became so green everywhere. And it was permission, complete, total permission to fully open. It was beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you. Can you let the listeners know who Aline is?
Well, that's going to be a little nutshell of what it is. But I would say that Aline is the most authentic version of this alignment that I feel within myself, where definitely joy is moving her. And it is when I find myself reconnected with joy, it's the most empowering experience for myself and those around me to experience that consciousness called Aline. Aline is in her little vehicle, so to speak, and this 3D reality is this very ordinary French girl who unfolded and discovered through the ups and downs of life the extra that was within herself, and that through the focus work of following spirit allowed her to replug that extra in her ordinary to transform her entire life in experiencing extraordinary.
Beautiful. Can you explain a little bit more what oneness is for you? I know that's a word that we hear a lot, yet, and it's part of my company. It's in the naming of my company in this podcast, Lift Oneself. Can you give what the definition is for you?
Mm-hmm. I feel and know oneness as the merging of all parts of who I know myself to be, and what is also on the outside, what I experience and project outside. So when everything, there's a congruency of a moment, a space where everything appears to me as orderly, it's the experience of oneness that I converge or consciously move my consciousness towards. So it is obviously a space that is already here, and consciously the work of moving back to as the center whenever I am more in the experience. The oneness is to me the existence. So the experience where I go to explore myself from this existence is what I do every day, knowing that it's safe for me to go experience that, because this oneness existence version of myself is there as the hook to go back to in any time, anywhere, at any moment, around any people, and that. So it is the source of, and the center of where Aline is in the most whole and safe way to be.
Beautifully said. You mentioned in the transformation that you work at being in joy and to have your experiences in joy. Can you paint that a little bigger and give us an understanding of what that looks like for you and how you cultivate that in your everyday?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for asking. This is but because this is the path that I have found the most exciting and the most purposeful and meaningful for me. So thank you for allowing me to share this. Joy is, let's put it this way, is that for the first probably 20 years of my life, 24 years of my life, the first ones, it was really an experience to be in joy and then get out of it and experience really the joyless life, and with a lot of ups and downs, dualistic experiences, based out of outside needs to be in joy and creating joy from experiences there. Joy must be in vacation. Joy must be in making money. Joy must be in having this boyfriend. And so this incessant experience of finding some version of joy at a sudden cost that is systematically, it's not going to last technically, and it's vowed to a condition for me to actually access to it. And very often to get out of my own truth in order for me to just touch it. So obviously by the age of 24, after this repeated experience of joyless life, the realization was, that's not, like, I didn't say yes to this. There's no way. I pushed the button. Yes, that sounds very fun here. That was really clear for me, was just not that. So what I realized, and that's when really the awakening happened to me, everything collapsed from that joyless life. Nothing could sustain anymore, could be sustained. And I realized who I had chosen to be, the joyless version of me, which was as far as I could have ever imagined of me feeling safe, beautiful, empowered, connected, joyful, purposeful, meaningful, all of this. And so the path then became very clear, because everything that I had been chosen, felt, every time I would be remotely feeling this way, I had to go 180 degrees around, like on the other direction. And so it was a challenging experience to have, obviously, because it's the awareness of the duality, darkness, right? But it was also such a powerful space for me to, by contrast, to relate to every single time I was moving back again through some subconscious pattern that was making me move back to that. It became very clear my body was giving me some of this walking back towards joyless life. And so suddenly it's like, well, I don't know where the joyful one is, but I know it's not here. So let me try something different. Let me choose something drastically opposite to this. And the likelihood is, yes, it looked very much like the unknown, but it was still better than what I knew.
Exactly.
Right. And so to me, that has become really the compass through which that I honor the version of me that was courageous enough to be for 20 years in this darkness, because she allowed me for the following 30 to really look at, it's the clarity of the path towards or into more of the joy became a lot clearer, and it unfolded from that place systematically. And so it is really a knowing of, I was talking about that congruency of self. It, like, this joy vibrates so high in the map of consciousness that it definitely is a version of me where all parts of me just want to have fun together. It's like party time, right? Instead of everyone being in their room, just like, I don't want to talk to you, you suck, or, I don't like it. And so to me, it was always in that mindset of how can we create the next party? Like, how can we unfold this next party? And it's like, well, everyone needs to be in. And calling on to all of, like, how do you call all of your girlfriend? You make sure that the center where the party is going to be is fun, and they know that. So either because there's going to be safe for the anger one to come, like, we're not judging you, you're welcome to come. And then the sad self, like, we see you, you're not a downer, you just exist also with us. And then honoring every single emotional aspect of Aline, so that this space becomes such a safety and joyful foundation to be, that the respect that every single one of them have, allow the human being, Aline, to exist in all other forms without, because there's no judgment towards one or the other, and being, taken aside and judged eventually by the others, or by, the ultimate judge inside. So joy was, the way I look at it and feel her, is she's kind of like this instrument, or this a conductor. She's just like, guys, girls, I got this great thought, that I had this great vision, this great idea, who wants to be in? And literally having all of them just saying, maybe I want to be part of it, without, letting one out. And if there is one out, it's like, okay, well, let's all go and let's sit down. Like, why is it that you think that it's not a good idea? And really having this collaborative expression between each aspect. So we're all moving up. It's not, no one left behind. It's really that expression of where joy has her power. She can bring the oneness. She can bring and reveal the oneness that is already there, but she's really stepping and embodying it through her leadership, her soulful leadership. This is how I feel her.
And how I'm receiving what you're saying is, in the language that I would use, is that we at times fragment and splinter out, where we don't want to feel certain emotions or certain parts of our character. And what is needed is that integration, to no longer have holes with an H, but you have a whole with a W, so that we're all together. And if, again, fear activated or doubt or whatnot, it's being able to face that and not just bypass it and be like, you don't exist. It's like, well, you may have some messages that are important that I'm not seeing long term, or that it's activating something from the past in our nervous system. Yet let's give some information so that I don't fragment and I don't splinter off again, that this is a wholeness and being connected to the big S, the big self. And really, and how I see the big self is our life force, God, Allah, like universe, whatever name you call it, that you are in flow with that energy, that you can experience life the way that you need to. And from what I'm hearing you say too, and what I guide my clients into, is reconnecting back into their curiosity. Because a lot of times people have been disconnected from curiosity, and you require curiosity to go into that unknown, to go into that uncertainty, because it's like, no, the brain wants to stay what it knows and just stay where, even if it's, like you said, joyless and dim and dark, we understand it. We know what's expected. Don't give me any surprises. So that curiosity allows you to go into those spaces where it's like, wait, I'm deserving of being in my worth and having joy, and also really activating that choice. And so can you explain how at the beginning, because everybody has a beginner's mind, what did that look like at the beginning of going through this process, and how you related to yourself when these, big parts or big emotions, because you're also explaining like a bit of the IFS, the integrated family systems. So I'm just using some language so people can see, oh, this is what it's relating to, that you've created this whole unity of modalities in there. Could you explain what it looked like at the beginning for you, and how you had to continuously do the process of integrating and sitting with yourself?
Yes, and the really the moment of what I call, like, it's like the Big Bang for me, where the universe really was rebirth, is that moment when I had this conversation from a very much victimhood consciousness, where the world, that I was in a space where I had zero capacity to move forward anymore the way I knew myself, right? So of course it was a lot of anger, sadness, and then sorrow and feeling guilty, blame, all of this version, that I was given an opportunity to actually share all of this, because I was full. There was no more capacity. So, and this guy who I encountered, who could feel and see me, like, having the tears in my eyes and being on the verge of, like, like I'm going to explode, or somebody needs to poke a hole in it and just like help me just like, empty myself. And that's what he did. And he gave me an hour and a half of his life to just like, with the questions like, oh, what's going on? And literally it was that opening door, gateway to unfold all of my emotional narrative, and my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister and my boyfriend and then the government and just name it, and then the aliens and everyone. It's like everything and everyone who was responsible for the fact that I had absolutely zero power. And so once that was done, after an hour and a half, I felt so free and open. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy is my savior. That must be him. So what do? I'm just like, yeah, so you have to stay with me all the time forever. And which, he could have used, because that's a lot of power to get from somebody who is very powerless, right? And what I really honor him for having done was actually to tell me the truth, which was, and it was in French at the time, but it was telling me, says, I don't know any of these people you mentioned. It's a beautiful story. Like I could have gone to a movie and watched a beautiful movie. But at the end of the day, he says the common denominator to all of this is you. So he said, what the heck is wrong with you? And that was my slap in the face. That was my come to Jesus moment. And I remember how angry I felt. And I just was so angry looking at him. Who are you to dare take, for me to have opened so much, so wide, giving you all of the darkness that is inside, and you slapping me in the face, telling me it's my fault? Obviously how I heard it, right? And so I left, very proud of myself, just like, whatever, another one of those. And I came back home walking, from wall to wall with these two being on my shoulder that I could very clearly hear the talking to me with two different voices. One that was just like, angry, like, what is it? Like, who does he think he is? And, it's just like another one of those. And then the other one who was really just, because there was more room inside of me, so she could be very loud and just saying, he's not totally wrong. It actually makes complete sense. And that part that was really the wisdom aspect, just saying, why don't you just go back and be curious with this? Like, what does it mean? What is it that, what if there was something with you that was, in quote, wrong? And well, what are you going to do about it? And so at that moment, I realized, like, gosh, I just have to go back and call him and just have a conversation. And so I called him back and I told him, I said, I think I need to hear more and listen more. And so would you be open to continue conversation? And he says, yes, absolutely. And so we had a conversation that really, opened my mind to first an opportunity to listen to a version of myself I've never met, because I was born and raised in an atheist family where the concept of divinity, divine, God was just very like, well, you're born, you live the best you could with what you have, and then you die. There's nothing before, there's nothing after. There was nothing very that bigger than myself, although I could feel that there was something more than myself, but no one around to guide me in connecting the dot, right? And that's the first time that he started to connect some dots in a way that honored what I felt. And so it became a desire for me to, what else do I need to know? And he was telling me, says, oh, everything you need to know is already here, but you're going to need to go within to figure it out. And then that's how he opened me up to meditating, which, ultimately was the path for me to silence myself and just be present, which was very uncomfortable, right? And, but what I discover is, says more than any book can write or can share. But then there's also the idea of opening the mind and reading also other people's truth and opening opinions and perception and understanding of what life is according to them, and see where it resonated with me. So it really was about being curious and not take for face value what people necessarily were sharing, but really having an interest in encountering another's point of view, and then find the alignment, if there was one within myself, taking it on and practicing it through embodying it for a certain amount of time, enough to say, it does work for me, it does align with me, this truth is bright enough, has power to complete me, or at least to reveal me in that completion. And then at some point, it was really by like 9 years into this, there was this, like, again, like that curiosity, like when I moved from France to the States where I didn't speak the language. And so there's another curiosity about who I am when I am in a complete unknown, surrounded by people who don't understand me and who I don't understand. Well, the strongest factor of understanding was me. I understood myself the most, although it was not a lot at the time, but it was still like, you're still the most invariable aspect of your life right now, which exponentially expanded my trusting myself, following my intuition, moving in, turning into the voice, because that was the most familiar to me. And so my intuitive development literally got optimized during these early years in the States, by the nature of being in a world of unknown, which, once again, it's like I had to go back to be a child, to listen, to open up, to be curious, to ask questions, to be in the beginner's mind, I don't know anything. Like, I just cannot assume that I know, because I don't know. And really opened up a lot of like being a sponge, just like, gathering everything from the energetic information through the intellectual, emotional feedback and physical information that my environment could provide me. So it's a lot of holistic, it's like a big recipe with a lot of different information that comes out. It's like, ooh, let's cook something that is going to taste good, right? And so I would say that I've never had really one practice that has lasted for 30 plus years. It's been the consistency has been to just give back the power to the child, the playful aspect of me who is capable of learning and growing, because it has the values of curiosity and fearlessness when it is empowered. And so, of course, my entire support is playfulness. Like, my coaching business uses playfulness as a way to reveal joy. And so it had to be, because that's my path. I had to be willing to play, to open up, to look at life as, okay, that's a big game. What's the game? How do we play the game the best? Like, and not because somebody was going to win or lose, but it's because the joy and the expanding joy was the win. And not only for me, but for everyone around. So that has been really how, to me, it has started, and what I kept starting myself over and over again. And because so far it has worked. So, there's never been any other modality that as powerful as this one, and available, like in any moment of time. This say yes to what is, not because it's safe, not because it's beautiful, not because it's just because it is, and it's in front of you. So you have brought yourself this. What are you going to do about it? I know it's fun. I know it's joy, because that's what I ask for. But I don't see it. Well, let's play a game. Hide and seek with joy. How do you reveal it? And that, to me, has been my fun. My way.
Fun. Yeah. What I'm hearing you say is, at the beginning, because a lot of people don't understand the nervous system and how impactful it is for us to be joyless and be in a dark space. And it sounded like you were very dysregulated, very constricted. And then this person gave you some co-regulation of safety, that you could be honest about all the things that you were feeling, all the perceptions, the indoctrinations that were put in you. And then there was this opening, and it's like, oh, and then very thankfully, he did not lure you into giving your power away to somebody else, because that's what happens a lot of times, that he reminded you, like, no, this is your power and you have to go inwardly. So it sounds like a process of regulating your nervous system so that you could be in the open space and not dysregulated into the 4 Fs, the flight, freeze, fawn, and fight, freeze, fawn, and flee. Sorry. I was like, which ones are the Fs? And so really, interacting with your biology and really being curious with it. Because at the beginning, you said I had to lean into the constriction, the contrast, to see, is that the way? No, that doesn't feel good in my body. So let's go total opposite, so that we can have this openness and, engage with the fear. Because a lot of people think, oh, a regulated nervous system means you're just always at peace and calm and just flatline. It's like, no, a healthy nervous system means that you can go through the hills and valleys and still be consistent to not disconnect and disassociate from yourself, which we need to do because, being human is traumatic. There's all kinds of things that are bombarding and activating our nervous system.
Mhm.
Yeah, the way that you went, and as you said, I needed to surrender the mind of it always wanting to protect that it knows everything, and really go
Mhm.
into that curiosity of bigger beginner's mind and childlike mind. What is this new thing I'm going to learn? What is this
Mhm.
new place that I can see that I have the capacity of learning and intaking some more stuff, and really
Mhm.
being curious and childlike with that, which can be very challenging for a lot of people to go into that, because it's like what I give as a prescription for the clients that I have. I'm like, go play. When is the last time you played? Unstructured play. Not, oh, well, I have this at 10 o'clock and that. No, unstructured play that you can let your curiosity, let your imagination go. And there's no type of, I need to achieve something. I need to win something. I need to get rid of this calorie or do these kilometers. Like just some play, and so that you can connect into that childlike, joyful excitement and really start creating the life that you want to live and that you're deserving to live, of listening to that inner compass inside yourself and listening to that joy.
Totally.
Can you let the listeners know what your self-care looks like?
Yes. So my self-care is because I have connected consciously with four different dimensions: my spiritual, my emotional, my intellectual, and my physical. I have to honor every single one of those. It's like as my kids, like I have five kids to take care of every day. And they are just telling me, I want this, I want more water, I need more movement, I need you to sit down. And so, so learning learn to tune into their voice and their qualities, and really to discern, that my body is asking me to move right now. So I'm literally going to follow, like that's the servant ego aspect, listening to all the CEOs that are just there to ensure the harmony of the business. And it's really like my body is asking me some strenuous exercise, like it needs force right now, strength. So I'm going to for a run, for example, or I'm going to go for a yoga, or I'm going to go for, if it's needed stretching, then I'm going to go stretch. So there's something physical that I am going to do. But the body at time would tell me, like, you need to rest today. You need to just veg, just open, be, and receive. Then that's fine too. The emotional self is usually very like, let's go find joy. Like joy is just like, let's go find joy. And of course, life is going to bring experiences where fear and guilt and shame are going to come. And so it's like, well, what do I need? Especially right now, for example, as I'm scaling my business, there's a lot of fear that are coming, and just like, oh boy, here she goes again. And it's really having like fear, just come here, literally seeing me with my kids when they were 4 or 5 years old, and just putting them on my knees. It's like, yes, you don't have to go there. I go there. And so having the awareness, honoring that voice of the emotional, like what's going on right now. And the body is so amazing at providing feedback, direct feedback to it. So that is one aspect. The mental is really like more, to me, it's like the to-do list. Like, what do I need to do to create the structure that will allow the emotional and the body to actually, and the spiritual to really be honored and seen and respected and complete today the most. And then the spiritual self is really how I start my day. It's like I open my eyes and I have this moment of what do you need? Like, add the I, the big I, and spirit, soul version of myself, the highest, and honoring what comes up. And then I usually go get up, and then I always have my hot lemon water first thing in the morning, because that's an honoring the space. To me, it is the experience of spaciousness, because I am preparing the digestive system. I am rehydrating the body in the morning, which water for me is unconditional love. So it's like all of this connection to, I am saying yes to unconditional love. Thank you. I'm saying yes to whatever comes in because I have the space for it and I put the intention to it. It cleans the kidneys, it cleans the liver. It's like all of this is preparation for receiving. So that usually is very early in the morning. That is what I start with. But it has evolved over time as well. I used to be getting up at 4 every morning, first thing, go to the gym. I needed to activate that divine masculine aspect of me because I was in the building space or phase of my business. And so I needed to reactivate that divine masculine first. So during that period of time, the first thing was go to the gym. 45 minutes, 50 minutes, that's what you do to re-engage that version of yourself so that you know that you will have enough of this energy to re-anchor for the rest of the day. So once the the phase was done, and that it was more about the next phase, where I had to be more in divine feminine to receive new information on how to scale what that building first phase was. And then that was more of yin yoga. That was more of walking and slowing down, of being present here and now. More went back with more meditation, more like I went and studied, to do more sauna, for example, where it was more about. So to me, it's something. It is like life is an ever flow, and with what we are being invited to say yes to, because it is connected to our joy. It's what is the routine, what are the routines, the habits that are going to support this experience in the highest and in longevity and way. And there's always, I was a personal trainer for 17 years. So routines, it's something, discipline and commitment to the body is something that I have not only asked for myself, but was asking my clients. So it's almost like I put myself as a client. And now it's not just being a personal trainer on a physical body, but it's like really the emotional body, the mental and the spiritual aspect as well. So it's really this holistic version that, like what is, once again, like what is my I needs me to serve her in order to express herself and experience herself in the most whole way. And so yes, it's evolving over time, but there's some constant that are, I'm going to listen to these 4 aspects of me and honor every aspect of me this way, right?
Yeah. I'm going to bring you into a reflective question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you to bring your awareness right now and go back to your 18-year-old self. And you're able to tell your 18-year-old self 3 words that would help carry her through to the journey to now. What would those 3 words be?
Joy, soul, and connection.
Could you give a reason why?
Joy, because this is who she is, that she doesn't know yet. That's what she needs to look for in order for her to find herself.
Could you let the listeners know where they can find you and what services you offer?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me at experienceextraordinary.com, which is my website. You can find me. Please use Let's Connect, the contact form. If you have any questions, there's never been a question that is not worth being asked. And suddenly to me, desiring to be curious about, I never had that question before. I love it. And you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook and LinkedIn at Aline Henley. And you can find me in France and Italy in retreats if you want to just meet me there too as well. And or in Austin anytime. If you come around, just go find me and send me a little message. I'm going to be around. Would love to meet. And then we'll meet.
And for the listeners, if you didn't get all that, it will all be in the show notes so that you can just click directly and you will be in contact with Aline. And like she said, use that contact form. There's no question that is an unanswered question. So ask the question so that you can get some answers and some direction. I want to thank you
Definitely.
for being a guest and coming on the podcast and sharing the joy, sending out that energy and that vibration, and also doing that warrior work within yourself so that you could use that alchemy of impurities and bring them into gold and share it to others that there's a different way. There's a way of expansion and feeling openness and joy in your life. So thank you for
Wonderful.
that, Aline.
Thank you so much for giving me a space to share, and thank you for your work as well to be an expensive and magnetized experience for others to find themselves as well that way. So really, I honor you in your mission. Definitely, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please remember to be kind to yourself. Hey, you made it all the way here. I appreciate you and your time. If you found value in this conversation, please share it out. If there was somebody that popped into your mind, take action and share it out with them. It possibly may not be them that will benefit, it's that they know somebody that will benefit from listening to this conversation. So please take action and share out the podcast. You can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Lift Oneself. And if you want to inquire about the work that I do and the services that I provide to people, come over on my website, come into a discovery call, liftoneself.com. Until next time, please remember to be kind and gentle with yourself. You matter.